Hello, welcome, episode 12, post-discussion after show. This time with an amazing special guest. We have Koibu here to discuss with us Gnomes, Tomes, and Catacombs. I am just about to bring him on screen. He is in the call. What we're going to do is we're going to do a quick episode recap, and then you guys can ask your questions. You can ask your questions to Koibu himself on Discord DG/Mylixia first and most importantly. This guy has a Patreon. He does this full time. It is patreon.com/Koibu0. You can post links in my chat. Spam that link. This is a guy you want to support. He does D&D full time and has all kinds of awesome shows on his Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Koibu. Koibu is an amazing DM and also, as he proved today, an unbelievable therapist for some of the stronger personalities in our party. Oh, man. I don't know how you pulled that off, man.
Practice.
Yeah.
20 years of practice.
Holy. How long have you been DMing for?
20 years-ish.
That's unbelievable.
I don't really have a start date for when I first started playing, but somewhere in the late 90s is when I first got the real book. And then from there on, sort of alternating DMing and playing with my friends. I do a show called Dicing with Death with this guy, Ryan. And we've been playing together since the beginning. Like, we started as kids, and we've just continued to do one-on-one D&D sessions until now. And that's where really I cut my teeth on D&D.
That's awesome. I feel like in the same way, but from the player side. Kind of like did the same type of thing. Just spent thousands of hours going through the player side, and yeah, that's really cool. Let's do a recap real quick. I'll take my notes. Maybe Koibu can fill in the blanks. My show notes are ridiculous for this episode. I mean, the whole episode was absolutely insane. It was probably one of the just most wild things that one of the most wild episodes overall that I think I've ever been a part of. It was just insane on so many levels. Let's see. Our story begins when we go back into the. I guess the only one that I don't have the notes on is the first part. So we went to the cave, right? And no, we started the story off being attacked by a giant undead snake. That's what happened. Okay.
That was so long ago.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It feels like that was like days and days ago. So Locke's getting attacked by a giant snake, and it's about this time that we realize we're in some serious trouble. I actually was pretty sure that the party was going to TPK because the fireballs were enough to do damage. I don't know how this party just gets through things. I don't know. But somehow the party gets through it. Midori prays to her goddess Varachi and does some massive radiant damage. Barbo makes a permanent pact with his goddess Ephra and also creates his weapons. Gerald has the very difficult choice of either casting Magic Missile at 3rd level and doing some damage or detonating a fireball above the cave and blowing the roof. And I couldn't do it. I just, the chance of wiping the entire party was so high. I'm glad I didn't do it now. It would have been a disaster. So we did manage to kill the giant snake, which turned to ash. And we learned that it was a very strange creature, but there's still an open storyline there. We don't know what that was about or much about it. So we went back to Rockridge, and Ephra gave Barbo his first quest, which was to sing tales of Ephra and her victory over the evil undead snake. We started singing tales, indeed, and Gerald played a nice song on his bagpipe. Barbo went around talking to everybody about Ephra that would listen, and nobody, Midori or Locke really cared too much. And so the tales reached an archmage named Koibu. What was the name? It was
Romulan.
Arch
Romulan, I think.
Arch Romulan. An archmage in title, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so and he was the archmage of for the Baron of Hillsborough.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. And he took us to his tower, and asked to read the memory of the fight to try to figure out more about this creature in exchange for a new powerful spell for Gerald. And Gerald accepted. The mage kept his word. And then the mage, I think more to get us out of his hair, gave us an impossible quest to go capture a live giant. And Barbo and Locke decided to do it and figure out how that was going to work. So we went to go capture the live giant, but first we were going to go back to Bon Theris to get some new spells from a mage who also plays in, is it Hardcore Heroes?
Yes.
Yeah, Malachi. He plays in Koibu's campaign Hardcore Heroes, which I actually lurked in a little bit. I didn't want to catch too much of the story for our own campaign. I lurked in that, and I highly recommend that show. That's, I think, at what time is that, Koibu?
The show ended a long time ago, so now every few weeks, every few months, we pop back in, like do a sequel episode, and that's sort of an ongoing storyline. But the major plot of that has already ended.
How cool. Okay, so is that on YouTube?
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Okay, so you can go watch that on YouTube. I must have caught a follow-up. There was a cleric there, and there was a mage. There was Malachi.
Yeah. Van Helsing and Malachi.
Yes, and I super recommend checking that out. So I did not go back to Bon Theris to get my spells because the gnome always gets bullied, so I didn't get those spells. But actually, Gerald has gotten really a lot of spells and is super strong for a wizard of 5th level. I'm very happy with him. So we did not go back to Bon Theris. Instead, we went into the cave to try to go get some giant hands because the sheriff of the town was paying us 500 gold per hand and didn't believe Mooten when he brought in a giant bone to try to convince the sheriff that was a new giant. He thought it was the same giant as the one that Mooten brought before that was just his dick. So, so we decided to go back to the cave. The giant, we find the giant immediately hurling rocks inside the cave. I have the idea out of character to prepare a web spell to catch the rocks that are incoming while we chop off the hands of the children and the wife, the dead giants that we killed the last episode. We chop off the hands of the children and wife while Gerald catches rocks with web spells so that the giant doesn't kill us all. And it works somehow. And so with the last web spell prepared, we shoot the web at the giant. The giant gets stuck, rolls incredibly bad for like 3 rounds. So bad. It was like 5s the entire time? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Then we toss a grease on the giant, and he just gets completely screwed, and we escape. But, and this leads us to, I think, which is the kind of apex of our story, the tension between Locke and Barbo is increasing, and it is coming to a boil. Locke has been dealing with Barbo's debauchery for several episodes. Barbo has been dealing with Locke, who won't move an inch on any issue, and it comes to blows. It comes to a duel. Koibu loads up the cowboy music, which I loved. That was a great detail. And Locke beats Barbo in a duel with no problem at all. I don't even think Barbo got a hit, or maybe he got 1. Because Sentinel is viciously OP, and Variant Human Polearm Mastery is disgusting in 5e. I think Barbo might have gotten 1 hit, but Barbo gets pinned to the ground, and he then attempts to leave the party. Gerald plays a happy song. Midori tries to convince him not to. It doesn't work. Barbo doesn't leave the party, and we go back to town to turn in the hands. But the battle is not over. There is a long discussion until Barbo goes to Ephra and Locke goes to his room, and they both consult with the big guy in the sky who takes them into a marriage counseling session of epic proportions, unseen by anyone in this age. And somehow the big DM guy in the sky manages to convince Barbo and Locke to give up their opposed ways and come together as friends, and they do. And the party reunites together as friends to go back to a cave, do some more horrible acts, and surprise a giant who has just lost his 2 children and his mother. and fight him, and not only beat him, but cut off his legs and arms as well to deliver him to a wizard who basically just told us to do that, thinking that we were not going to do it. And we bring back a live giant on a giant cart with his legs and arms cut off and cauterized to be interrogated by the wizard, who more or less just wants to get us out of there as fast as possible. And that leads us to the next part of our adventure in episode 13, where we will be traveling to Fortune to discover the Philosopher's Stone whereabouts and what the legend is over that.